Hey there, and welcome! Today we are diving deep into algebraic formulas. You know that feeling when you're staring at a jumble of letters and numbers and it feels like a secret code? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to be the one calling the shots, ready to rearrange any formula to find exactly what you need. Let's get into it.
We've all been there, right? You're looking at an equation and you just feel stuck. It's that moment where you feel kind of trapped. But what if I told you there's a simple, super powerful trick to unlock any formula? That's exactly what we're going to master today.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we'll cover the absolute basics. Then, we'll meet the star of the show in every formula, the subject. After that, I'm going to show you the one golden rule you need, called PINDA. Then, we'll use it to solve a real problem and finish up with the key things you need to remember. A nice, clear road from A to B. All right, first things first. Before we can start twisting these formulas around and making them work for us, we've got to be super clear on what we're actually looking at. So, at its core, what is an algebraic formula? It's really just an equation that shows how a bunch of different things, we call them variables, are connected to each other. Think of it kind of like a recipe. This classic one here, y equals mx plus c, just tells you exactly how y is related to m, x, and c. That's all it is. Okay, so inside every single formula, there's a main character, the star of the show. We call it the subject. And honestly, getting to know the subject is your first big step to taking control.
So what is the subject, or pakara rumus? It's just the one single variable that the whole formula is set up to solve for. It's the answer we're after, sitting all by itself on one side of the equation, waiting for us.
So how can you spot it in the wild? It's easy. There are just two rules you got to check for. One, it has to be all alone on its side of the equal sign. No other variables hanging out with it. And two, its coefficient, that's just the fancy word for the number in front of it, has to be a 1. If it checks both those boxes, boom, you've found your subject.
Okay, now this is where the real magic happens. I'm about to show you the one simple trick that lets you take any formula and bend it to your will. It's called the PINDA method, which really just means to move.
The whole idea behind this PINDA method is actually super simple. If you want to make a different letter the star of the show, the new subject, all you have to do is get it by itself by moving everything else over to the other side of the equal sign. But, and this is the big one, when a term moves, or PINDAs, across that equal sign, it has to do a complete flip-flop. Its operation totally reverses. A plus sign on one side, it becomes a minus on the other. Something that's multiplying, it becomes division when it crosses over. This is the golden rule. If you remember this, you're set. Okay, enough talk. Let's see this thing in action, right? So here's our formula. 2e minus m equals L. And our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to get e all by itself. Make it the new subject.
All right, step 1. We got to deal with that minus m. We're going to PINDA, move it right across the equal sign, and what's the rule? When subtraction crosses over, it becomes addition. Just like that, we have 2e equals L plus m.
Okay, look at that. E is almost home free, but it's still stuck to that 2. Right now, that's 2 times e. So we do it again. We PINDA the 2, and since it was multiplying, what does it become? Yep, division. And there we have it. E equals L plus m, all divided by 2! We did it! We made e the subject.
See? Not so bad, right? You now know how to change the subject of a formula. But why does that even matter? Let's put this skill to work and solve an actual problem to see just how useful it really is.
Okay, here's our next challenge. We're given this formula, 3n equals 4z plus f, and our mission is to figure out the exact value of z. So where do we even start? The good news is we're not flying blind here. The problem actually gives us a couple of huge clues. It tells us that n is -1 and f is -11. These are the keys to unlocking the whole thing. Okay, your first move in a problem like this is always to substitute. Just plug in the numbers you know. So we swap out n for -1, and we swap out f for -11. See? The equation already looks a lot less scary.
Okay, now it's time to clean this up and use our golden PINDAS rule. 3 times -1, that's -3. Now we want z by itself, so we got to move that -11. It crosses the equal sign and becomes a plus 11. So -3 plus 11, that gives us 8. We're left with 8 equals 4z. We are so close. And for the final move, that 4 is multiplying the z, so when we move it over, it becomes division. And what's 8 divided by 4? It's 2. And that's our answer. Z equals 2. Problem solved.
That was awesome. Seriously, great work. So let's do a quick recap of the super powerful tools you've just picked up.
So think about what you can do now. You can look at any formula and instantly spot the subject. You've got the golden pinda rule, which means you can make any variable the new subject whenever you want, and you know how to plug in numbers to find a real, concrete answer. That's a huge deal.
Think about it. You might have started this feeling a little stuck, maybe a little trapped by these weird formulas. But now you've got the keys. You're in control. You get the structure, you know the rules, and you've seen it all work. So the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve next?